Your reasons for listening to the show, well, those are your own. But just keep in mind that the views, information, or opinions expressed on the Tuddle Daily Podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of our sponsors. Yeah, it's called free speech, people. Nobody's forcing you to listen. One-of-a-kind shades made to order by vaporshades.com. Vapor Shades designs the outer layer of the sunglasses just like a wrap on a car. They customize your sunglasses, marbling the paint. The end result is no two pair of sunglasses are alike. Yours will be completely unique to you. Check us out at vaporshades.com. Use promo code Tuddle for 15% off your entire order. Get ready for your daily dose of Tuddle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuddle. Tuddle in Florida.
From the Vapor Shades Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
Anarchy! Anarchy! Anarchy!
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuddle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
Welcome to another edition of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Got a lot of stuff to talk about, but before I do that, go to my website, Tuddle.net. That's Tuddle with two D's, Tuddle.net. When you go there, you'll be able to find every single place that I am online. There's a couple of ways that you can reach out to me. You can email me, Tuddle@gmail.com, or you can leave me a voicemail, 407-270-3044. Don't forget, every single night at 8 p.m., I do a live stream. I missed one day last week, and I didn't do any this weekend because Colton from the Bubble Love Sponge show came over for Bike Week to spend there and hang out and see it the last weekend. He ended up staying at the Hobo Fish Camp with me, and I am actually working with him today. I came over Sunday, and now I'm kind of like his construction bitch / assistant, having to pick up supplies and materials that they need for the job site. But back to what I was saying, live stream, I'll be doing one tonight at 8 on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tuddle. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell button, because when you hit that bell button, you're going to get alerted to any time I upload any new stuff or I go live. So, like I said before, I am kind of like Colton's construction bitch today. I am his assistant, trying to help him out. Basically, his job is he's in control of getting all the building materials or supplies that the many job sites around the St. Pete area here, he does that. And we've gone, I think maybe, what have we been to Home Depot 4 times? Yes, 4 times today. We have been to Home Depot when you're getting stuff, and then we'll go to one job site and they need another. And I got to tell you, it's kind of nice. It's nice to be out working and driving around. Or I think we're going to lunch now. Oh, yeah, we are going to lunch right now. So I think we're going to stop by because I tried the PDQ grilled chicken strips last night. They were really, really good. But because I've been trying to eat healthy. But I'm also going to buy Colton his lunch today. So I think that's a pretty good assistant. I'm trying to get in good with the boss. Who knows what's going on? Because you guys know that I'm going to be appearing on the Bubble Love Sponge show tomorrow. I got to be there at 8:45. Does not start until 9, but I'm trying to pick up some extra money here. So this is me trying to impress Bubba back in the day, bringing in some food or some donuts right now. So not only am I being the construction bitch, I'm buying my boss man some food today. So I'm working smart. Learn how to work it, Shannon Burkett. So the reason that I am actually helping Colton today, he came over on Saturday for Bike Week. He's been over on his bike to the Volusia County area, but he's never been here for a bike week. And he actually came on the busiest weekend of all of Bike Week, which is the final weekend. He actually came by my house first. I gave him that little new handheld Mimo Digi camera that one of my great subscribers and supporters ended up sending to me. It's very handheld, shoots 4K, 60 frames per second. And Colton actually went out there, spent most of the day. I stayed at the Hobo Fish Camp getting things ready. And then he got back around 6:30, 7 o'clock, and we hung out there. We pretty much stayed up late. I think we went to bed maybe about 1 o'clock. I was actually nice. If you guys don't know this, we live in a fifth wheel. And the bed that I sleep on is a pull-out from the couch that is in the living room. So I ended up sleeping on the floor, giving my guest, Colton, who was my best friend, the pull-out. Now, the pull-out is not the most quiet thing. If you've never slept on a pull-out bed, very, very cheap. I need to end up getting a comforter on it. But he kept moving around most of the night. I don't know if he's a real heavy sleeper, but that ended up keeping me up. So I didn't get a lot of sleep that night. We ended up waking up. I ended up going in and getting breakfast from Camelot, and then he took over, and he was like, well, why don't you come over on Sunday? Because I didn't even plan on coming over to Tampa until Monday, because I'm going to be on Bubba's show at 9 o'clock on Tuesday. And he was like, if you come over on Sunday, you can make some extra work. So I've been helping him out with that. I got some great footage that I'm going to get edited up. Don't know if I'm going to use it for my YouTube channel or give it to Bubba. Actually, I've given Bubba now he has 2 pieces of content from me. I gave one is a tour of my, Tuddle Daily Podcast studio, which is my 2006 beat-up PT Cruiser. So I gave a little bit of a tour of that and how I record my show every single day. And then I also went out to a liquor store, Kenny's Liquors, right there in Edgewater, Florida, to interview one and only Jesse James Dupree from Jackal. And I thought that would be another great offering for me to be able to give to Bubba when I come in tomorrow on the show. Don't forget, I'll be there around 8:45. I actually listened to this morning's show. Now, I'm a little worried. I'm worried that I'm going into a hostile environment. Who knows? But I'm going to go in. I'm going to be cool. I am a completely different person. None of these people there that I used to work with at the BRN have seen me in quite a while. They have not seen the transformation that I have made physically and mentally. And I think they're going to be surprised. I think Anna's a little worried. She's not going to know how to handle me or take me. And I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be nice. Like, I'm not going to go in guns a-blazing, but I'm also not going to be a pussy. I'm also not going to be a pushover, but I'm going to play ball with people. Like I told you, this podcast has made me a better broadcaster, in my opinion. It's gotten me to do the things. I got to do show prep, production. I gotta promote on social media. It reminds me of when I first got radio. But today we've been riding around, and I gotta tell you, man, Colton is really busting his ass. And I gotta tell you, he is still tight with the money because he ends up getting paid by the mileage. Now, they use this app that actually keeps up with the mileage, but Colton actually keeps a paper log of everything that he does. Matter of fact, he's getting in right now. He's not going to be on here, but he is writing down his hours, and you wouldn't believe. Listen, see, look. See, you can hear all the pages that he has there, and he's writing them down. Yep. Man, that's a lot of hours. So we've already made about 4 trips to the Home Depot, 2 trips to Home and Decor, and I got to tell you guys, if you go to Home Depot, check out the Ryobi saleswomen that they have there. Oh my God. Like, seriously, they are crazy hot. And when I say thick, I'm not talking fat. I'm talking they've got curves. And the shirts that they make them wear, it's like, all right, they might give them a size too small, in my opinion, because you can actually just see it. It's like every time they breathe, you can see the breasticles, inhaling and exhaling every single time. So we're off to a couple more stops here. Check in with you here in a few minutes. When I come back, I have an interview with a guy that actually wrote a book. He takes Trump quotes and relates them to quotes by religious leaders like Gandhi and all these other big ones. I'm not a religious person, so I wouldn't even begin to tell you any of the big ones. Gandhi was the only one that I could think of off the top of my head. Gonna take a quick break. Be back in a few minutes. You are listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
He's a nerd,
I've only been arrested one time.
a radio personality,
Professionally, I'm not in the best position that I've ever been in.
and hot talk satirizer.
You would think with everything that's going on, a Caucasian like myself wouldn't be able to randomly talk to an African American or a minority.
You're listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Wish you could have just flown and had your vehicle arrive a day or two later so you can enjoy more time doing what's important to you? Well, you can. Just give Starfire Transport a call. Let the professionals do the driving while you're flying. Starfire Transport specializes in RV and auto transport. They'll also haul watercraft from boats to PWCs, cargo trailers, and more. Service available throughout the continental United States. So don't wait. Call Brian today at 574-349-4193 or 989-751-6106 for your next move. 10% off for veterans past or present. Also, make sure to tell them Tuddle sent you for an additional discount. That's Starfire Transport. Do you have something you want to say?
Hey, what kind of preacher is you?
Leave Tuddle a voicemail,
Cause you're kind of ignorant.
especially if you think he's being an asshole.
No nigga, bitch.
Will your hurtful comments offend Tuddle?
No, baby.
Call the show at 407-270-3044.
No, baby.
Welcome back to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. This is an interview that I've actually been looking forward to for a really long time because I think it is one of the most unique things that I've seen in a really, really long time. And joining me right now on the Tuddle Daily Podcast is Peter Beresford. See, I got the last name right. Did I nail it, Peter?
You nailed it. That's a 10 out of 10 Tuddle.
Now, Peter, where are you calling from right now?
Vancouver, Canada.
See, I could hear a little bit of the Canadian accent. Now, born and raised in Canada as well?
Born and raised in Canada. Where are you calling in from, Tuddle?
Orlando, or Central Florida. I Daytona Beach. I've worked in Daytona Beach in radio. I worked in Orlando in radio, and I worked in Tampa. So I pretty much have worked that I-4 corridor from Tampa to Daytona Beach, just there in Central Florida.
Very cool. Very cool. I've always thought that people in Florida speak English sort of the cleanest. There isn't much of anything, and I actually like it. Yeah.
See, I went up to New York and I interviewed for a job at Sirius XM one time, and somebody was like, They and it's kind of rude to tell, but I think that there is a bias between, I'm not saying Canadians, but I'm talking Northern Americans to Southern Americans, where they kind of look down on us. And they said that I talk slow, and I really don't think that I talk slow, but we're used to our own voices. We're used to the people in our regions and stuff. So maybe I do sound slow. I don't know.
That's pretty funny, because if you took a national average for speaking speed, I'm pretty sure New York would come out number one. So for them to tell anybody else they're slow is kind of silly.
Yeah, because
everyone's slower than them. No one's faster.
Yeah, it throws off the averages and stuff. Now, Peter,
That's right.
Tell people about the project, the book that we were about to talk about. Tell people how they can find it anywhere that you are on social media, a website. The floor is yours, my friend.
Okay, Tuddle, I appreciate the invite today, and especially I appreciate that you called my project unique, because it certainly is unique, and it takes the right kind of brain to appreciate it right off the bat. The website and the social media, Instagram's probably the best one, or just the website. The title of the book is The Trump Guide to Spirituality. So if you go to trumpguidetospirituality.com or Trump Guide to Spirituality on Instagram, you'll find a really cool introduction to the project. I mean, the title speaks for itself. It's a totally ridiculous concept. And that's what drew me to it in the first place. When you put these two words next to each other, people don't know what to do with them, because you really don't ever see spirituality and Trump in the same sentence, let alone him being, a guide to it. So it started off as simply a concept in comedy. And then I started playing around with how that might best be communicated in a visual form. And then the end result was a 60-page book. And I think one of my favorite things about the book is the cover. I always say half the value of the book is in the cover.
Well, we're visual. Humans are very visual people, so I can see that. I mean, we kind of are. I mean, if you look in the animal kingdom, I mean, you look at the males. The males are always the ones that have the big, colorful, like feathers or markings and stuff, to be able to attract the opposite sex. So, I think sometimes we forget as humans, we're nothing but evolved and intelligent animals.
That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. And not only that, but our attention spans have been shrinking steadily for the last 50 years. And to communicate something quickly in today's media environment with so much noise, being visual and minimal really helps.
Now, the book is basically Trump tweets, things that Trump has said, compared to other spiritual guides, correct? Like, Gandhi or any of the other spiritual leaders you see out there, or am I off basis by that?
You got it. So the hook is really the comedy in America's #1 entertainer, Donald Trump. And it's the heart of the book is a collection of the most ridiculous things that Trump has said or tweeted over the last 30 years. So there's enough comedy just in that to, for the book to be fun. But the other side of the page, so the book is spread out in left to right layouts. And on the left, you've got, the Trump quote with a silhouette image of Trump, always in a character position, maybe doing a hand gesture or something.
Now, I don't mean to interrupt. Now, were you worried about, did you use, so you're talking about like outlines, correct? Like profiles and stuff in the images, or were you, so were you, did you do that because you were worried that like somebody like Donald Trump would come back and try to sue you or something?
No, that's a good question. I did that because this was an art project, and the way to communicate his character, the quickest and cleanest, is with black and white silhouettes. I found it was my choice with the art, because the theme of the book is there's some yin and yang going on. For there to be dark, there's got to be light, and vice versa. So I thought that I'd play on that black and white yin and yang with a very clean black and white design with the silhouettes. But I cleared everything legally, so every image in the book was created through a photo that actually had the legal license to use.
Now, this is a quick question though. Do people own their tweets? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if you are using tweets that they had, see, now this is the other thing that really, really sucks, is that he's not even on Twitter anymore. If he was still on Twitter, this would be like content upon content above content. But do people own their tweets is what I'm trying to say. Can you reuse those?
That's a really good question. And it's all emerging. because there's so much content pumping out every day, and who owns it? And I talk to lawyers, copyright lawyers who specialize in books about Trump and this kind of stuff. And the advice I got something was called fair use. You probably find this
Yeah, fair use. Yep. I know exactly what it is.
Yes, you must, being in the media business. So if you make use of someone else's content, be it a tweet or a quote or a transcript from a podcast, if you add on to that, if you do something additive in some way, so you add value to it, you make a commentary on it, you make humor out of it, you call it a parody, for example.
I'll give you an example. I play audio from news reports all the time, and I'll start and stop them, and I'll make comments from the audio. That's an example of the fair use.
You got it. You got it. That's exactly what it is, because you're not only relying on the substance of the original work, you are adding your own intellectual property on top of it.
Now, so give me an example of some of the most outrageous tweets that you used in the book that came from Trump. And then give me an example of, you said yin and yang. Give me an example of an outrageous Trump tweet and then something from a spiritual leader.
Love it. The very first one in the book is from a Playboy interview from 1990. Trump said, "I don't want to be president. I'm 100% sure."
Mm-hmm.
And on the right, we have Buddha, a piece of Buddhist wisdom, responding, "Let go of the past. Do not anticipate the future. Rest your mind in the present, then leave the mind alone."
Oh, so
tenet. Yeah. So what does that do to you?
Well, well, at the time, living in the present, Trump didn't know that he was going to run for president or could be the president.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side, it is that, I don't know. See, now I've lost my train of thought here, but, living in the present, it's I don't know. I'm lost now.
No, but you got it. You absolutely got half of it. And this is the whole fun of the book. Each 2 pages are an exercise or a meditation. So one way of interpreting this is Trump has the nature of Buddha. He lives so in the present, unlike anyone else. He'll just speak whatever is true for him at the moment without consideration of the future. I mean, we could call that a great strength or a great weakness, but so that's an interpretation of Trump's wisdom, right? And then on the other hand, we call it criticism of him. Well, hey, don't anticipate the future. You were clearly wrong about that. So every 2 pages you can take both ways, and that was the point of the book, because Trump's the most loved and hated president, or one of the most loved and hated personalities, in decades. So it was trying to make something for both sides.
Yeah, I mean, look at it this way. I mean, everybody's always been talking. I mean, the United States of America has never been as divided as it is right now. I mean, just look at the Senate. Right now, it's split right down the middle.
That's right. Yeah.
And now, you saw what happened at the Capitol, but then you saw what happened with the Black Lives Matter movement.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides are, it's like, you cannot even talk politics in this country anymore, because you are either going to piss somebody off, you're going to lose a friendship, and it's just not worth it anymore, in my opinion.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And so what's missing in this whole commentary is equanimity. Is that something you're familiar with?
No, explain, please.
Yeah. Equanimity is a principle shared by a lot of the world religions and spiritual paths, but especially Buddhism. Equanimity means the middle path, and it's the path free of desire and free of aversion. You're not seeking things and you're not avoiding things. So this is sort of a state that a meditator might try to get into. And that's a theme from this book is, you can witness the vitriol spouting out of Trump's mouth, or you can absolutely love him. either way, let's maintain a composed center and not be thrown too off of our emotional foundations.
Now, are you a religious person? Like, what? And maybe I hope I'm not offending you by asking you that question. But
No, I
like,
love that question.
are you a religious person? And if so, what do you practice?
So first, I'll answer that we're all religious people, whether we know it or not. We're religious to something. Second, for myself personally, I was raised Catholic and dropped it really cleanly when I was 20 years old. And a couple of years after that, picked up a meditation practice. And so I've been practicing roughly Buddhist styles of meditation for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's where I'm coming from.
I believe in a higher power. Do I know what it is? No. I also know that a lot of the wars that we have fought in this world have all basically been a part of religion. Religion, look and I'm glad you see people get offended when just like politics talking about religion, but the Catholic Church, the Catholic Church, I despise because of what they're allowing to go on in their church with the sexual abuse towards children.
Disgusting.
I mean, it is. And I don't understand why people would even think about giving money to an institution that allows stuff like that to happen.
Yeah, that's a big, ugly question. And so many great, sweet, pure-hearted people who were Catholics their whole lives and are, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old right now are facing that really tough question. Wow, I dedicated so much energy and money to this organization and they were hiding pedophilia. I mean,
well, basically the money that you were putting in the collection plate was going to pay off the families of the children that your employees raped.
Yeah, how awful. Just the most awful. Yeah. So I think that when we paint religions with only one brush, that's when it's tough. So yeah, religions have been the cause of unknown pain and war and suffering. Absolutely.
Now,
do they also have some function? They have some function in people's lives, some healthy function. So
okay, here, let me give you another example here in our country because we've been having these stimulus packages, and I'm sorry if I'm getting way off here, but
no, I love it.
We're talking about religion and
it's a fun conversation. Yeah.
The stimulus packages that our government has been giving out that are supposed to be helping, people, small businesses and stuff. Joel Osteen, you know who Joel Osteen is, correct?
Yeah, I know him from TV. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you realize he got like over $5 million of money from our government, as well as the Catholic Church got $4.4 million. Now, why do institutions that don't have to pay taxes get any of our money? Our whole country was based on freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and I feel sick when I see taxpayer money going to churches or religious parties that do not pay taxes.
Yeah, I have the same feeling, and just knowing the headline of that story, that sounds wrong. That really sounds wrong, and I totally agree with you there.
Now, the other thing is Carl Sagan. Do you know who Carl Sagan is?
Carl Sagan, absolutely. Yeah, one of my favorite books as a kid was Contact, and absolutely, I remember my uncle had a telescope, and he'd imitate Carl Sagan's billions and billions of stars.
Billions and billions. Like I've gotten into astrophotography. I've been taking a lot of pictures, and it's strange, but Carl Sagan, most scientists get labeled as atheists. And Carl Sagan said, well, I'm a scientist, okay? And if I'm a true scientist, if I can't prove something, I can't say it doesn't exist. Does that make sense? So by that is saying I have no proof that God doesn't exist. So therefore I'm not saying that he doesn't. But
that's right. Yeah,
you know,
you can't disprove it.
Yeah. So I mean, not many scientists look at it that way. It really, really does not.
Yeah, and really the question it comes down to for any of these guys is, be they philosopher or scientist or astrophysicist or whatever, are they willing, or do they think at some point in all of the mechanical, chemical, physical reactions in the universe, at any point is there a little magic, a little unmeasurable magic? And I think that when you get down to it, a lot of them will say, okay, we don't know what that really is. We don't really know what's there. And if we want to feel optimistic about what's in that black space, then we can have a little hope. We can think there's a meaning, there's a greater purpose to all this. But it really comes down to, is there room for any little magic at any point in the last 50 billion years?
Yeah, Peter, on the line with me right now is Peter Beresford. Sorry,
You got it.
I messed that up there. Tell people once again before I let you go how people can check out your book, your website, and anywhere on social media.
Absolutely. So go to TrumpGuideToSpirituality.com. You get an intro to the book, read a couple of pages, see some sample pages, watch some funny videos, and then buy the book. It's the best coffee table book out there for a laugh in 2021. Absolutely. And the Instagram is the same title.
How's the weather up in Canada right now?
Oh, man, it just got beautiful. It is, I don't know how to say this in Fahrenheit, but it's 10 degrees Celsius. So what is that?
10. Well, see, the way that I always do it, your freezing is 0 up there, correct?
That's right.
Okay, so 10 degrees. So, 22 degrees right now, then, I guess. If I'm doing it off the top of my head here. It is like 86 degrees here right now.
Yeah, okay. I think that we're about mid 60s right now.
Okay.
And it's sunny. This is the warmest day of the year so far because it's been, spring is here. So it's just getting beautiful.
Well, Peter, dude, I really enjoyed this conversation. Hopefully I didn't get too deep into, religion and politics and stuff like that.
No, man, this was my favorite conversation of the day and maybe even the week. So thanks a lot. I look forward to chatting again.
Well, Peter, hey, let's keep in contact, and I would like to start having you on some more, man. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm very grateful for the time.
I have a lot of gratitude for this as well, Tuddle. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Have a great day.
All right, man. Have a wonderful one. Bye.
Okay, brother. Yeah.
From the Vapor Shades Hobo Fish Camp.
Man, maybe I would have way more sex partners in my life if I just threw caution to the wind.
It's the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Tuddle's Daily Podcast is brought to you by StitchYouUp.com. For your embroidery, screen printing, vinyl, and direct-to-garment printing needs, visit StitchYouUp.com. Stitch You Up specializes in custom caps, shirts, decals, and anything you want to personalize. Whether it's one item or large orders, they can handle any size. Unsure about what you want? Let Stitch You Up help you with your logo design. Visit StitchYouUp.com or contact them, Eric at StitchYouUp.com. Stitch You Up. Definitely not your grandma's embroidery. Nerd. Radio personality and hot talk satirizer. You're listening to the Tuddle Podcast. He was down. He was out. Forgotten. After months of rigorous training, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, he's been honing his skills in the pinnacle of broadcasting. That's right, the Hobo Fish Camp. 1 year later, Tuddle's back on the air with Bubba the Love Sponge. Don't miss his triumphant return, twitch.tv/The Bubba Army.
Yes, that's right. Tomorrow, I make my return to the Bubba the Love Sponge show tomorrow. Now, I don't even know what is going to be offered, what is going to be on the table. I'm just fortunate that I'm going to be able to see everybody that I have worked with before. Well, except Anna. But it'll be good to see everybody. I've not seen Bubba since the day that I didn't actually see Bubba the day I was fired because he fired me over the phone. But besides the point, I'm really, really excited about that. My buddy Josh Kale did that little positioning statement for me. I know Bubba likes them, so I'm going to give that to them for tomorrow. Plus, I got some other pieces of content for them as well. But before I go, I ended up watching the Grammys last night. Now, I'm a big defender of the First Amendment. You guys know that, no matter what. But I got to tell you, the performance of WAP, Wet Ass Pussy, by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion last night, they did that on the Grammys. Everybody was like, oh, are they really going to say pussy? Because the way that Trevor Noah set it up, it was like, it's a song about, they just got done washing their cat. And I was like, oh, okay, that's how they're going to get away with it. But they didn't even do that. But I got to tell you, the last time something like this happened was during the Super Bowl. You know, that whole Janet Jackson debacle. Not a lot of people realize how much that affected the radio industry, because the FCC, they went exactly after us. And it has that feel of being Janet Jackson, having her bra ripped off by Justin Timberlake. You really didn't even get to see a nipple. It was just a star there. Or have we just come so far in society now where stuff like that is not going to bother us? Because it's not fair. Why don't they go after TV? They want to go after radio. Do you know how many people ended up losing their jobs? Do you know how many of these consultants had to come in and tell us what we could or could not say? I thought it was kind of ballsy. Matter of fact, it would have been a little bit more ballsy if they would have actually let them say pussy. And there were some other things that they were talking about it. I think they actually brought a pull-out game strong during the performance. And Trevor Noah, at one time, and look, I know a lot of people are Trevor Noah fans, but he's become a little too political. But the jokes last night, they just kind of fell flat. I don't know if that's because, once again, they do not have a live audience there. And you kind of already knew who was going to win the Grammy before they even gave it out. Because whoever was there was there. It was like they didn't invite all the people that could have won. They invited the people that they knew were going to win. And I had to tell you, Harry Styles did have a pretty badass face mask on. And what I didn't understand is that they're all wearing face masks. They take them off at the table, hug everybody, then they get up on stage. Now, I'm sure the rich and the elite, you know how everybody wants to talk about, it's 65 and over when it comes to your COVID shot? Bullshit. You people, all those celebrities last night had already been vaccinated. I'm sure that they got the one-shot Willie vaccination that's like 100%, gives you lifetime immunity to COVID-19. Yeah, I could easily see that. But the reason that I brought that up, like I said, it didn't bother me seeing them perform Wet Ass Pussy last night, WAP, on the Grammys. But they made it seem like they kept teasing, oh my God, they're going to do WAP. They're going to do WAP. I was like, oh my God. But it was one of those events on TV that I'm telling you that is going to draw the attention of the FCC. They're not going to go after TV. They're not going to go after movies. They're not going to go after the news. They're going to go after radio because we are the rats of broadcasting. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the show. I'm sorry that today's show is going to be a little bit shorter. I've been helping out my buddy Colton, picking up a few extra bucks, helping him during his construction job. And I'm also, I want to get some rest. I want to concentrate on how I am going to handle my appearance on tomorrow's Bub the Love Sponge show. I'll be on at night. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Hope you enjoyed the interview I did, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
And that's the show for today. Thanks for listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hey, don't be a dickhead. Do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe to the show. Also, check out the Tuddle category at 315live.com. The Tuddle Daily Podcast is brought to you by the Vapor Shades Hobo Fish Camp. You want some cool-ass sunglasses? Check out vaporshades.com. Also brought to you by Starfire Transport, StitchYouUp.com, PocketPairClub.com. Special thanks to show intern Hannah and Charlie Alamo for their contributions. Additional imaging and production is provided by CCA Productions. Facebook.com/CCA Productions Presents. Show voiceover service is brought to you by JCVoiceover.com. That guy's got a damn sexy voice. You should hire him. Check out jcvoiceover.com. If you want to help support the show, go to paypal.me/TuddleOnTheRadio. Comments? Concerns? Or do you just want to let Tuddle know he's being a dickhead? Tuddle@gmail.com. That's Tuddle with 2 Ds at gmail.com. Leave a voicemail at 407-270-3044. To follow all of Tuddle's social media, go to Tuddle.net. Thanks again for all your support, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
Hey, yo, Terry, what going on?